Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I am Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing Seeking Sister Wife. But before we do, I do have some hot goss for you, so let's move into that very quickly. So, 90 Day Fiancé Love in Paradise is coming, y'all. I wanted to cover last season's Love in Paradise. Unfortunately, it didn't happen quite as well as I hoped, but I really did want to cover last year's season. So finally I'm able to do it. Yay. So that is coming on Monday, April 22nd. And that's obviously following a Single Life. Y'all, we have 5 parts of this still. 5. Jesus. But anyways, that's what we're doing. So this season, we have 4 Americans, hopefuls, giving international love a shot as they connect with their partners from Brazil, Italy, Malta, and Colombia. So we have 4 couples. Feels less than we usually do. In the trailer for the latest installment of the DLC franchise, it's all love and sunshine as the couples celebrate the romances that have blossomed after brief trips. However, things quickly take a turn as one couple disagrees on the terms of a threesome. Another deals with unexpected financial woes. One pair tries to compromise on super sperm, and the other decides who will be the boss bitch in the relationship. So I do have photos of some of these people, so I will post them as well. We got Kyle, 32, a native of Los Angeles. He travels to Malta where he meets 39-year-old Anika. By day, Kyle works as an accountant. In his free time, he donates his sperm. Super sperm. As a result, he is the father of 71 children and has currently 9 on the way. Well, it's not his kids, but yes. The pair met after Anika, who is a single mother, saw Kyle's information online and booked a consultation. After feeling a spark following their first chat, and went from donating to dating. Whoa. Still this season, we'll see the pair's first meeting with each other and leave Anika falling in love with a quote-unquote weirdo and wondering if Kyle is willing to stop spreading his seed and plant it only for her. Sounds like a Jasmine. Then we got Sean, who is a 61-year-old hairstylist who falls for Aliyah, I think, who's 25, y'all, from Brazil. When the pair first met, Aliyah identified as Douglas. Oh, okay. Now the Brazilian beauty is embracing her feminine side, and it's leaving Sean with mixed emotions. As Sean navigates Aliyah's new boss bitch persona, Aliyah has her reservations about their intimacy. So I think, based on what I'm understanding here, maybe I'm incorrect, I think she's transgender. So I guess we'll see a little more about that. Then we have Luke, who's a 30-year-old Los Angeles native, another Los Angeles native, who fell in love with a 19-year-old Madeline following his first visit to Colombia. After spending his entire vacation with Madeline, I think I'm saying her name correct, whom he deemed the love of his life, Luke decides it's time to pack it up and move to her native country. So we actually have like a the other way storyline here. After experiencing a hiccup with his money, Luke realizes that he can't support his girlfriend's lavish lifestyle, leading to some big blowouts between the two, including one after Madeline was topless in the bed with another man. Okay. Then we have our final couple, Texas girl Alex, who's 30, is living out her Italian romance dream with 33-year-old Adriano. Sorry, guys. Adriano, sure, from Italy. It's the first time that the Salvan girl has dated anyone from overseas. and she loves the chemistry. While the amour is strong, things get complicated as the free-spirited Adriano wants to introduce new women into the relationship, and Alex begins to see the true difference in what a relationship means to them. Good luck, my girl. But that's what's coming in towards the end of April, so excited. And again, I'll have the photos posted of each of them, so we will have that. So next piece, another Love is Blind thing. And I'm honestly, guys, I'm slowing it down with Love is Blind stuff because the show is done. We can move on, but here we go. Despite seemingly wanting to continue a relationship off camera, Chelsea said that she's just friends with Jimmy, as we know. I've seen what I need to see, she said. I've been told no multiple times with him, so we're not doing that crap again. And she told this to Nick Viall and the Viall Files. The flight attendant went into more detail about trying to salvage the relationship for 4 days after they filmed their breakup. She said, after filming Wrapped, he expressed to me he tried to take me to a baseball game on our wedding day, like that's a consolation or something. And he just said that the cameras were too much. The pressure was too much, she says that he said. And I was frustrated because I'm like, you knew going into the situation that there's gonna be fucking cameras, you idiot. So she said their dynamic only continued through those 4 days instead of improving. Chelsea said one night he made her dinner. Another date was her first baseball game. She confirmed that they hooked up as well. So yeah. She said that lesbian fans don't hold back from giving the cast their opinion. Actually, I think this is AD. Hold on. Back up, guys. Yes, sorry, guys. That part's done. Moving on to AD has something to say as well. It's just the fans that don't hold back on their opinion. She said she explained why she hadn't taken any of it seriously. She said, I read the comments like one week. And she goes to Cammie Crawford. And if you know who Cammie Crawford is, you're my people. She's on Catfish. She's Neve's co-host. She said, after that, I'm all set. She's good. No more reading anything. However, she was aware that the tides were turning in public opinion. Especially after the reunion aired, it just shows me how finicky people are, because now it's like, AD, we love him. Give him another chance. Y'all need help. Okay. But yesterday it was stand on business, sis. So it's like, I love them and I love their interacting, but I can't take everything to heart, because now it's like, because 1 minute it's stand on business and next it's, sis, we're sorry, take him back. Like, come on, y'all. No, she should not take him back. She also addressed people talking about when she ignored red flags before going to the altar with Clay. After all, she seemed aware that she had a past of doing so before, and made the comment that she painted her nails red to match. Any woman in my position looking at this man, like, come on. And she said, if you say you wouldn't, you're a liar. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I say. I would have fucked that man. I have fucked a guy that looked just like that guy, and probably was just like that guy too. I didn't date him. I wouldn't date a guy like that. I will have my fun with you while I want to. But that's it. That is the difference. So no, looking at this man and saying I'm going to marry him is not the response that I think the majority of us would have had. I think the majority of us would have said, I will have fun with you and I know it'll be great, but I'm not going to marry nor date you. It's like, it's just not going to happen. She said that she's now learned her lesson and she will pay attention to them red flags and not paint her nails red too much. Also want to add this part too. She also addressed the fan comments about her makeup and lashes throughout the show. She revealed that she asked for a makeup artist on her wedding day to be experienced with dark skin. That didn't happen. And there was an upsetting situation on her big day, actually. In the end, AD joked about switching up her look after the feedback. She also takes credit for Clay going to therapy. I think she should, and says that she sees progress in him, which I do agree with. Yeah, because oh my God, not everyone can do black makeup or black hair. Like, not everyone is capable of doing that. So, she again reiterates they are friends, and AD said that Clay had his chance and made it clear she doesn't plan to date him, and she told him that. She did tell him that, so I'm happy she stuck to it. So the fans who are rooting for a romantic reunion between them might be out of luck, and I think, yeah, you should be. Come on, don't wish that on her. AD does, however, admit that she still has feelings for him when she sees him. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two we hear that AD and Clay are back together. As much as she stands by, I'm not going to go back to him. I think she would. I think she would in a heartbeat. But since we're staying on the trope of Love is Blind, I do have something else that I'm going to just say here so that we don't have to bring it up again. Remember how I told y'all that the UK spinoff is coming? Well, the UK spinoff is coming. And it finally has a release window. So as I've mentioned before, it's going to be hosted by a real life couple, very similarly to what we've seen with Vanessa and Lachey and Nick. That the couple is going to be Matt and Emma Willis. Netflix has now officially confirmed that Love is Blind UK will come to our screens sometime in August. So that's to be expected, and I probably definitely will be covering the UK edition of Love is Blind. So I'm excited for it. You can expect that in August. We're going to be jammed packed with that. I imagine we're going to get quite a bit of Netflix shows around the same time. But that is it for the hot goss. I do have more for you, but I'll save it for another episode. But let's hop into the reason that we are here. Seeking Sister Wife, Season 5, Episode 3, Seeking Something Real. So first we have the Merrifields. And Paul, she made it. She got here. Her and her mom, they both got here. Garrick said that some IT guy bumped her up to number 1, I guess, to get the visa. It was very confusing. But she looks like a teenager to me, y'all. She looks so young. It's so gross. But Danielle says that she has more like a skater girl look. And I want her to say, see you later. I really do. But Garrick also says, like, this is kind of like one moment where he actually, I guess, half compliments Danielle and kind of talks about like how they met and stuff. Like, he kind of says, like, yeah, she kind of reminds me of Danielle because Danielle had a very similar look, like a farmer's girl look. And clearly that attracted him to her. So I'm like, oh, that's new. So they rented a villa out so that they have space and not being looked at like weirdos. Sleeping arrangements. Natalia's going to be with her mom, while Garrick is going to be with his wife, you think? So no hanky-pinky until there is a proposal. Okay? He just wants to hear her be committed to being his wife for life. So now they're going to be going to a cenote. And this looked really cool. He's gross though, because when he sees her in her bikini, he's like, ooh la la. I'm like, ew. Like, I hate him so much. He is kind of like, I'd be so lucky to have her as my wife. I'm just like, you have someone who you already should feel lucky to have as your wife. Danielle is gorgeous. And like, I never hear him compliment her or even have any sort of affection towards her. Y'all, this episode, he holds her hand. I'm like, whoa. Like, I shouldn't have to feel, at least with the other, I mean, we don't know enough about the Ryans yet, who we met this episode. But, at least with the others, I feel like they actually show affection to their wives. I mean, mm, with Ashley, it's a different situation. We don't see a lot of affection between her and Shane. I mean, clearly there is. She's pregnant, but I'm just like, we don't see a lot of affection between her and him. Um, but again, like, I just don't see a lot of affection. I mean, hell, even the Snowdens when they were on, I thought Dimitri had more affection towards what's her face. Like, it's just, I need to see a little affection between him and Danielle, and I've never seen it in the seasons that they've been on. Like, I'm so annoyed by him. Anyways, um, Natalia does think that he's a handsome man. He clearly works out, and I'm like, where? Where? Because are we seeing the same thing? Because I don't see it. But anyways, and yes, I'm gonna come after him because I don't care. Anyways, Danielle says the cenote was very beautiful, minus the bats. Who cares? They're not gonna bother you. And Natalia does not like the bats. She actually refuses at one point to even go in the cenote because she's scared of the bats. But the higher up you are to the bats, I feel like you'll be more of a situation because then they can get into your hair and shit. They don't care about you. Like, at least like when I went into a bat cave, an actual bat cave, we didn't actually see the bats, unfortunately, which is such a disappointment. We wanted to see the bats, but they didn't, they were there. They clearly had to be there, but we just didn't see them. We kind of could hear them, but we just couldn't see them. They didn't bother any of us. Like, honestly, bats do not scare me. They don't scare me. I don't want them in my house, mind you, and stuff like that, but they don't bother me. Bats are harmless. Anyways, they're gross, full of disease, but they don't bother me. Um, so Danielle tries to encourage her to get in. She's not feeling it. Whatever, it was her idea actually to be at the cenote, and they still don't go in. But anyways, um, Danielle actually says that she doesn't feel as much of a close of a connection with Bert. Sorry, I did it too. Jesus Christ. She doesn't feel as much of a connection with Natalia as she does with Bert, or she did with Bert. She felt like there was a sisterhood between her and Bert, whereas she doesn't feel that with Natalia. And she said she felt that with Bert from the very beginning, but maybe that was Bert playing a role. Maybe this is more authentic and more genuine because ultimately you do have to grow a connection with somebody, right? So maybe this is more authentic than Bert was. We'll see though. We do see them after they leave the cenote. They go back to the villa. They're sitting down. They're kind of talking. There's not much to really talk about here. They kind of just talk about the day and how she felt and everything. But she's ready to go to bed now, so they're going to go to bed. Danielle worries that if she will ever actually have this great relationship with Natalia that she did with Bert, and she, Natalia, mentions that she does have this connection with Garrick. She full out says, y'all, that she's in love with him. Ew. But she says she loves him, fine. But she admits that she does not have the same connection with Danielle. Here's what I say, guys. I think if even Danielle says that she doesn't have a connection with Natalia and she wants to grow that connection with Natalia before he proposes, he won't give a shit. He'll still propose to her. He doesn't care about Danielle and what she wants. Because if God wants us to have this, Danielle, God came to us in a garage and told us that this was how it was supposed to be. All of that male DNA in your brain, girl. Come on. Anyways, that's it with the Merrifields. Let's move on to the Davises. We get some on-screen text that says, after moving out of Davis's home, Danielle signed a lease and moved into an apartment. Danielle agreed to speak with the producer, so we see her driving, and then the producer's there. The producer asks her, so why'd you move out? And she says that she wanted to take some time and some space. to figure out what she wants to do when it comes to the future. She says, is this life for me? Like, she doesn't know. And she says she loves them, but is she okay with potentially growing their family? Like, she doesn't know. And she just thought it would be a better idea for her to kind of figure this on her own. Then the producer asks her, well, did you say goodbye to Vera? Who is this bitch? She says, well, no. Like, she couldn't actually say goodbye to Vera, but she says she did have some time with her the night before she left, so she at least kind of had that. They then asked, did you say goodbye to Jen and April? We already know the answer to this. They weren't even there, so no, she didn't. She didn't want to break up, but she does understand the irony of saying that she didn't want to break up with them when she legitimately left in the dark of night and left, and it wasn't nighttime, but she left and got a whole ass lease at a different place. Like, that is a breakup, girl. But wait, is it really? Because in the next thing we see Nick is grilling, Danielle is here, and y'all, she moved back in. She moved back in the night before. And she says she moved back in because she loves Nick. She loves her sister wives. But they still haven't really talked about things. They still need to make decisions about where they kind of go from here. But she moved back. And everyone, I think, collectively was like, of course you went fucking back. Like, are you serious? Let's go back towards the sun because we all have to revolve around it, right? Anyways. Nick is worried that she might leave again, which is understandable. I think we get it. That she is not being sincere in her want of growing the family. Nick, she literally says she doesn't want to. So that is her being sincere and not wanting to do it. Like, you're just not listening to her. But, they're sitting down now to eat. And he said, okay, let's do a check-in, kind of see where everybody's at. Danielle says, he says, Danielle, I know you're struggling. Are you really ready to expand our family? Danielle says, for the longest time, doesn't say anything else, but she does eventually say, I'm not at a good point with the idea of growing a family. Then she gets up and she goes to the bathroom, and you can just kind of tell on his face that he's like, oh no, she's going to leave again. And I want her to leave. I don't want her to stay with him, honestly, to be totally honest with you. Or stay with them, whatever. But yeah, that's basically it for the Davises. We're going to take a tiny little break here, and when we come back, we will jump in with the other two couples. Or families. Have you ever thought of starting your very own podcast? Doing the research, I found something that would have made editing easy and seamless and makes the podcasting experience just that much easier. And I am talking about Ludo. This is a podcast software that I use for our editing of our episodes. It is amazing. It is easy. You're also able to get help from doing chats and getting the information that maybe you just need a little more help with. They also have access to different articles that can also help you that have been just godsends for me. Also with the Ludo, you can create clips, you can do your ads, that's like this very one I'm doing right now, and you can create your trailer very seamlessly just by the clicks of buttons. You can also use a Ludo to publish your episodes just straight from the software. It's so easy. I highly recommend it. You can get access to Eludu by using our unique link, which you can find on our show notes, just down there at the bottom at the show notes. And you can get access to an easy software. And we are back. So let's finish this up. So the Ryans, finally meeting the Ryans, and this actually was really fucking funny. So we meet Justin and Becky. They grew up together, and she really wanted to date him, y'all. She pressured him into dating her. Like, she would constantly ask him, not pressured, but she was persistent. She would constantly ask him, like, date me, and he would say no all the time. But there is an age difference, not much, it's like 3 years, who cares? But they got married at 19. He was 19 and she was 16. It says that, being married as a teen was pretty common where she comes from. Where the fuck is that? And tell me, because I never want to be there. They were not the only ones who were married in high school, or at least she was in high school. He probably would have graduated at that point. She grew up in a polygamous family, actually. So she's all about this. She's been wanting to live a polygamous lifestyle, I think, for the longest time. They currently have 6 kids, with 4 of them still at home. Then we hear them kind of talking about someone named Stephanie. So apparently they were dating this woman named Stephanie, and they've been dating her for 9 months. Things are going good. She says she really wanted to be a part of this family. But the problem is that she would have these moments where she would kind of fall off the face of the earth because she was worried about how people in her life would think of her being in a polygamous family. So currently right now she's ghosting them. They actually have not heard from her in over a month. So because of this, they're not sure what's kind of going to happen. He really would rather Stephanie come back. Like, they seem to really like this person. But I'm gathering by the fact that we don't see her picture that Stephanie does not come back, at least during this episode, or this season, I should say. So yeah, so because of this, they're choosing to continue seeking for someone else. So they're going to be going out to a bar. They said they've never dated in this way before. They've never actually gone to a bar. They've always gone online, but they feel like they've exhausted the apps. So this is why they're going to do it this way. Becky's actually very excited for this. She said she's going to be his wingman, because you can tell, like, he's really awkward. So we see this group of women at the bar, and they spot this very pretty woman who we meet. Her name is Desiree. And they're thinking, what about her? But he's really reluctant in actually approaching her. And he says, I'm going to take a minute. He's going to go out to the car. He's going to get, I think he said, his wallet. While she takes the opportunity, while he's away, to walk up to this woman and ask her, and says, he's not ask her yet. She says, hi, how are you? And, she says, I'm great. How are you? And she says, are you single? And she's like, yes. And she says, would you be interested in dating my husband? The balls on this woman. Bigger balls than her husband, that's for sure. Like, the hell? The woman beside her's face, which if you are on the socials, it's on, I've reposted it on TikTok, not TikTok, sorry, Twitter. I've put it on Facebook, Instagram. The face this woman makes is like, what the fuck? She's not even from here, y'all. She's from, shoot, you're probably all screaming at me. Estonia. She's from there. She's probably thinking, why the fuck am I here? What is going on in this fucking country? Oh man, it's so funny. But Desiree kind of says, like, listen, I know nothing about polygamy. It says club swinger. And I've actually heard that where they're from, which I can't remember exactly where they're from now, but around the area of where they're from seems to be really heavily in swinger activity. I mean, go on with your bad self. Who cares? Like, it's nothing, it's not for me. I'm not sharing my man, but that's my man. I can handle all of that. Thank you very much. But like, it's just, yeah, so she is like, so her saying that is actually really interesting because there at least, there's like something like that kind of happening. So she's thinking stuff from Swinger, right? Because I've never heard anyone describe polygamy in that way, but I guess in a sense it is in a way. But Justin does come back in and he can see, okay, so I walk away for like a minute and there's my wife talking to the hottest woman in the bar. Um, Desiree just kind of say, well, I just got divorced. I got two kids. Like, I'm not really used to sharing. But Becky, instead of walking away and saying, okay, thank you for the consideration, does a sales pitch on polygamy. Like she full ass sales pitch on the benefits of polygamy. It's so good. And she kind of says like, polygamy, we see it as being like a friendship. Like we don't get jealous here. Don't worry about your kids. We have kids too. We love kids. So your kids come in too. It's fine. And I kid you not, y'all. I think Desiree's being sold on the idea of polygamy. And Becky says, like, do you want to meet my husband? And she says, Justin, come over and meet her. Come talk to Desiree. And give her your card. Are we in the, like, what year are we in? Give her your card. Anyway, Desiree says, I wouldn't be against, learning more about polygamy. He does ask her, like, what do you do? And she says what she does, which I can't remember exactly what that was, but she just tells him what she does. And then he asks her, do you work out? It sure looks like you do. What the fuck? Like, my guy. But he's definitely very odd in how he approaches her. But anyways, he's like, so what are you doing tomorrow? Right? And she's like, I'm actually free tomorrow. Y'all, he gets her number and they have a date with Desiree. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this actually worked. Wow. Because we see this, like we saw this on the preview, and it's like, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell this worked. It worked. I'm shocked. But that's it for the Ryans. Let's quickly go over the Sherwoods. Not much here. So we got Rachel here, who is apparently a friend of them and was learning how to swim. But before that they get into that, he catches her up on things. Start talking about Grace. He said that she didn't really want to meet him, but then they did, and it didn't go good. Kind of saying that her job, the coaching and higher power and all of that, and how she made the comment about like, are you in therapy? Shows that you don't do therapy or whatever. Rachel says, well, that was real kind of a red flag and is concerning, and she believes 100% that Grace disrespected him. He says that he worries that his concern, like he expressed his concerns to Ashley, and is worried that those concerns can be ignored by her. And that he just doesn't really see anything kind of happening here with them. But Rachel has a very good question here, and she says, okay, so what if it clearly is a no for you with Grace, but what if it is a yes for Ashley? And he says, like, well, that it would be an issue, be a red flag and all that. Like, kind of says something like that. But she says, like, if if I'm telling her no for me, like, whatever, right? But she says, what if it is a no for you and a yes for her? What do you do? And he says, I don't know. I would think, like, what the hell? no, you should leave her. That is what she wanted you to say. Anyway, Shane is frustrated that Ashley has not yet made a decision about Grace, but not to worry. They do talk, and Ashley does say to him that it's a no for her when it comes to Grace. She needed to take that time, but ultimately, Grace did disrespect him, and she's choosing to end it. Ashley does text Grace and says, thank you so much. I have the self-reflection, and after you met Shane, it kind of went to shit. It's not, working for me. So I think you're great, but I think this is it. And she sends it. And she feels very relieved now that it's done. Grace does reply saying, thanks for being very direct. I felt that it, wasn't working for me either. So I think it's for the best. And that is basically how that ends. And that is great. Done. That is the end of Seeking Sister Wife. So next time on, Ashley is dating some girl named Sarah now. We see the Davises continuing their conversation, and we see that Natalia goes off on Garrick when she found out that he is still on dating sites. And Danielle throws him swiftly under that bus and says, that she knew he was going to be upset about it. She says to Garrick, you weren't looking at other women on there. That's a lie. She throws him under the bus. She's like, opportunity taken. Boom. It's so good. But that is it for Seeking Sister Wife. And remember, well, for this week, and I know again you're getting this before the episode airs, but the day of. But that is it for this episode. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Take Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube, and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.